We should start. Okay.
Yes.
So let me let me first introduce you.
Yes. Okay.
So my dear colleagues and Professor Dosto and Zuzana and my dear staff. Okay. So welcome to this small seminar. Okay. We are very blessed that Professor Peter Dosto has this opportunity to visit us. It's a long flight from Professor Peter Dosto is from Czech, and since his flight is from Vienna to Taipei, this is a long flight. So we were very happy to have him to come here to give us a talk. Today he will give a talk on the subject of the application of soft computing in business and management. And I know Professor Peter Dosto for many years.
Decades.
Decades, right? How to count it. Okay. I know his place. He's from Brno. Okay. I know some of my colleagues may not know Brno so well, but everyone knows Prague. Okay. But Brno is the second largest city. Okay. And actually, it's the first city I visited in Czech. That was back to 1997. Okay. That was a conference called Mandela Conference, and the conference still operating annually. And that was giving me the first time to visit Brno and Brno University of Technology. That is the institute Professor Dosto is affiliated with. And Professor Dosto is devoted very much on soft computing, generally speaking, okay? And particularly in fuzzy logic, in evolutionary computation, in artificial neural net. And he is also quite prolific in publication in this area. So 2011, he published books, Advanced Decision Making in Business and Public Service, and he sent me as a gift. I still keep it. So actually, I can read in the back cover about our speaker. So Professor Peter Dosto is a professor of economics and management. He teaches at Brno University of Technology in Czech Republic. His field interest is the use of soft computing and artificial intelligence, such as fuzzy logic, artificial neural nets, evolution algorithm, and the theory of chaos in business and public service. As an economic and organization advisor, he has worked in private firms and institutions. He is a member of international institution, program and organizing committee, scientific editorial advisory board, Berkeley Institute in soft computing, Society of Computational Economics, and the International Institute of Forecast. He gives lectures at a variety of universities, including the one he will give here today. He is also the chair of the ICF, that is IIF, that is International Institute of Forecast Annual Conference 2012, right?
Yes.
Okay. So and also come with Professor Peter Dosto is his PhD student Zuzana, and Zuzana working on artificial neural nets, fuzzy logic, and its application to economic and finance. Okay. So I will leave the time to Professor Dosto. So please let's invite you to give our warm welcome to Professor Dosto. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Professor, for invitation. You said nearly everything what I want to say about myself. Yes. Therefore, as it was said, there is nearly 20 years ago some slight cooperation with Professor. Therefore, I came from Brno University of Technology in Czech Republic, and therefore there are some small collaboration with your university. Therefore, before I will start, something about I tell you that Brno is here, therefore I came from Czech Republic. Brno is here, and therefore it's quite long journey to here to Taiwan. It's 13 or 14 hours flight. Therefore, we are in Central Europe. It's Czech Republic here. Therefore, we are interior country, not sea around us. The Czech Republic is twice larger than Taiwan, but we have twice less population. Therefore, the density is 4 times higher. Therefore, you can see that there is it's part of Czech Republic. Therefore, you can see here Brno. Capital town is the Prague, which you know much more. But the conferences which are held are called Mendel conferences for more than 25 years. And why? Because in this region was born Mendel. Therefore, it's called, it's a father of genetics. Yes, therefore it's here. Not far from here, there is Vienna. Therefore, if you want to visit Czech Republic, you can go here to Vienna. There is a direct flight from Taipei to Vienna, and it takes you less than 2 hours by bus, more than 1 hour by car to go here. Yes, and it's shorter way than like to motorway from Prague, which is in the condition. Yes, and therefore it's some place of Brno, and there is some circle which represents that there is a university. Therefore, to show you 4 pictures. Therefore, in Brno we have a castle. Yes, Spielberg it's called. Then you can see some the churches. This building is building concerning the main station. Therefore, when you go by railway, you can will be on the main station, which is called here. And what is famous for Brno, for businessmen, that in Brno is very many fairs, trade fairs are held here. Therefore, you can see so many pavilions, A, Z. Therefore, there are, for example, usually up to 200 firms from many countries exhibit their products at Brno Trade Fair, which is very popular. Therefore, it's something about Brno. Well, therefore, now I tell you about something about Brno University. It's Brno University of Technology. Therefore, there is a headquarter, hall of the headquarter, and you can see we have several faculties, from Faculty of Architecture. Very important is Faculty of Mechanical Engineering or Civil Engineering. Of course, Institute of Electrical Engineering, and also you can see there is a Faculty of Business and Management, and I'm part of this. Therefore, building of my faculty looks like this. It's about 15 years old building. It's something inside this such a hall in my faculty, and then you can see here a lecture hall and the rooms for seminars or something like this. Faculty of Business and Management have 4 departments: Department of Economics, Department of Finance, Department of Management, and Susanna is placed in the Department of Informatics. Therefore, my topic is to use information and advanced methods, like it's in this book, in business and also in public services. Therefore, it's some background where I am, and therefore you can see what we are interested in Department of Informatics, guarantees computer science, math, statistical methods. Therefore, mathematicians are included in our Department of Informatics, and you can see public administration, business, risk, project, security management also, and some other disciplines are used. Therefore, we have a bachelor studies here, we have master degrees, and also there is a PhD. We'll have strong teaching concerning PhD students, mainly from Czech Republic, but now we are opening widely. Therefore, some from other countries, some students can start to study PhD in our faculty. Therefore, I receive from time to time that students want to continue under my supervision of soft computing to do this subject. Therefore, I think it's familiar more or less with you. Therefore, artificial intelligence also it's also used the term soft computing. Yes, has such important topics: fuzzy logic, neural networks, genetics algorithms. Now it's evolutionary algorithms. Therefore, it was the first one I can say when this from the nature, the Mendel discovered this process of selection, crossover, and mutation, and after this genetics algorithms was converted to the computers, and they found synergic effects that it gives us very good results in some way, better results that are given by the people. And therefore we can say that it could be also evolutionary algorithms. The book was published when was described 300 various optimization methods chosen from the nature. Therefore, genetics are one of them. Very interesting is, but not very known, theory of chaos, which can help us describe better phenomena in complicated economic field. And also there could be combination of the models. Well, I will start it. Only one only one slide will be that the first one which I use, and I focus very often on this fuzzy logic. Therefore, you published a book, and I have a chapter about using fuzzy logic in economy. Therefore, the advantage of using fuzzy logic is that especially economic phenomena, financial phenomena is difficult to describe easily. Therefore, it's perfect when you can work with the vague terms. Therefore, it's not measure like a body temperature in centigrades, yes, or Fahrenheit, but to measure the risk. But you can make some experts ask if the risk is very low, medium, high, or very high risk. Therefore, there are used so-called membership functions, lambda, p, s, z, and many other methods. What is included is so-called box rules. Yes, therefore, there are some conditional clauses in such a way that describes the phenomena and enables you to solve the problem. For example, there is a simple description. For example, it could be some model for the bank which has now only 2 inputs. When the students do my diploma paper for the banks, usually 12 inputs. The most important, of course, is income and, of course, property. And therefore, what will be output if the loan will be provided you or not. Therefore, you can case. Therefore, you will be using vague terms. If there will be very low income and very low property of the client of the bank, the result will be that no loan mortgage will be provided to you. And vice versa, it will be very high income, very high property. Therefore, there is no problem for the bank to say you that the loan will be provided to you. Therefore, it's simple, but when there is 12 inputs and you must search for hundreds and hundreds of clients to evaluation, therefore, it's better when it's automated by some computer program. Therefore, it's fuzzy logic. Therefore, it exists various programs, but we are very familiar with Matrix Laboratory. I don't know its use, Matrix Laboratory of Masworth firm from US. No? Do you know Maastricht? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Therefore, you can see that there are some. You can see here that there are some inputs. In some are some rules and outputs. There are used some membership functions like here. Yes, there are spline curves here, and of course, when you do the tuning of this problem, therefore problem is to search for the risk of the client, for the risk of the bank. Therefore, you can use something like these surfaces. Here you can see, for example, if there were no low money and low property and low income, no loan will be provided to you, and only in cases you will have high income and high property in two inputs. It's a three-dimensional sphere, and you can see that this era means yes, it's good client for the bank. Therefore, you can search here, and of course, but you can use in this case hypersphere, because if there is much more inputs, you must switch on among the dimensions. And last thing, I try to use virtual glasses for this evaluation of the surfaces. And of course, then you can see that there are some rules, and if case some rules, it gives you some results. Advantage of fuzzy logic is that it's clear, and you can search what was why the result is such as. On the contrary of neural networks, which will be discussed a few minutes later. Please, if you have any questions, you can ask me, stop it, and I can explain you what is the matter. Therefore, you can see some implication, therefore, which is from praxis. Therefore, in this case, are used such as inputs. I will not be using some details. Yes, but you can see there are some inputs, and therefore there is several blocks like building project assessments. It evaluates applicant assessments, and so-called it's interesting kill criteria, which means when everything is okay, there in this case it would be sent here. No credit will be provided to you. For example, if it will be okay for the bank, and bank recognize that you have loans from other banks, therefore it's of course it's killer criteria helps you to reject this loan. Another application of fuzzy logic is cyber risk management. We have also a cooperation in Israeli people in Ariel University. Therefore, you can see that there is a threat of cyber risk management. Therefore, we create a model. There you can see some inputs. Therefore, it can be done automatically. Search the phenomena on the network, and therefore it could be evaluated if it's a threat for the firm, for the company, or how high it will be a threat. Yes, if it will be high danger, low danger, or something like this. Therefore, there are various layers. If you can use it in health sector, it could be very dangerous if something happens. Yes, stole your data, or if it's not isolation of some medical devices from the network, but usually it can cause you some problems. Therefore, we are focused on the project's cyber risk management. It means an evaluation of risk of the network. Therefore, it can collapse, it can be caught by the viruses and something like this. Therefore, it's one of the applications. Another application. Yes, yes.
Yeah, just to get the discussion going. This one is saying that you got two outputs. Is that right? So
Yes,
you
yes.
have, the outputs is going to be falsified, or is
Yes,
going to be
it depends on what you want. Yes, but usually it's it's enough if it's falsified. Yes.
It's classified.
Yes. Therefore, you give me good questions because in case if we are in economy, we don't use falsification and defalsification because we enter here with the weight terms and output. Therefore, in some case, falsification defalsification is necessary to use. Yes.
So
and
this mandamic still, what kind of algorithm allows you to produce two outputs?
You have so many outputs you want, and there are two outputs. One is this focused on the weight terms, risk, very high cyber risk, high risk, medium, low, very low risk. And second one, it was done by the problem of money. Yes. Therefore, it's transfer of the money. Because if it will be small group, it will be it could be written, for example, it will be small damage, medium, high damage. But it could be written that it could be damage only 1,000 Taiwan dollars. It could be 10 millions.
In terms of the rules, there's no learning, is that right? So it's really manually, you have to compose the fuzzy rule to specify the inputs and specify. So there is no learning, am I right? Fuzzy
rules are prepared by the experts. Yes, therefore it's some discussion, brainstorming or something like this. And I can tell you, but we have now that there is the so-called artificial network fuzzy interface system. Therefore, in case we have the data, it can be processed by the artificial network, and therefore the data will be, the fuzzy rules will be created by the neural network. Yeah?
Thank you.
Yes.
So this framework apply to both Madani and Spano system.
Yes. Yes.
Both.
Yes. Okay. Yes, therefore you can see, therefore, of course, it will some details, firm time, firm size, sector. Yes, if it will be military sector, it will be health sector. If it will be education sector, it will be so no guidance. It's a pity. Yeah, and therefore something like this. Therefore, level cyber methodology implement and so on and so on. Therefore, these data are more specified when we have discussion about this project. Therefore, some article was prepared for this for this description generally. Therefore, when I discuss it with Professor Chen for some collaboration, I can say that also to create a model and to be focused on the Taiwan area, it would be interesting. Yeah. Therefore, cyber risk management. If you find it interesting. Well, another is very popular, but I don't like it so much. Prediction of everything, not only stock market, shares, commodities, or something like this. Therefore, here you can see is that there could be direct calculation, and here you can see that there are using such terms like a direction if it goes ups, downs, rate change, trade fees, yes, margins or something like this. Therefore, it gives you the result if the money will be, if it's okay to put money into the stock market or not, or to deposit it in the classical bank or something like this. Therefore, you can see some outputs. And what is new, and it will be a short presentation of my Zuzana PhD student. Therefore, the theory isn't new because Professor Zadek, founder of, we can say he wasn't the first who discovered some fuzzy, but he collected it together. Yes, and in this case, therefore it's considered as a father of fuzzy logics or partial and soft computing. And they told, you said it's a fuzzy, misty, something. Yes, but what is fuzzy on this? It's a curve, strictly done. Yes, therefore, what was the answer of Professor Zadek? Yes, we'll have two types, 3-type, n-type fuzzy methods. Therefore, in the case when you are using interval fuzzy logic 2-type, you can see that not only one triangle or some bell shape or something like this is, but we'll have some spread. Therefore, that it's something that is misty, yes, and therefore you can, this membership function has upper and lower limit, yes, and therefore when you use the programs, therefore you can see there are not sharp shapes, it's something what is misty, yes, misty. Therefore it's much more friendly, and therefore our research or our study is if such 2-type fuzzy can help us to improve the quality of prediction of future, yes. Therefore it's one thing. Therefore when I will be continuing is a neural network. Therefore, it was discussed that also when we have the data could be put into the neural networks, and neural networks will be creating automatically rules, fuzzy rules. What is interesting that the first who described neuron, yes, it's really from the book of Mr. Pourquinier, who lived in the region when I am, not in Brno, but in this region. It was Mr. Pourquinier who searched what he have in the brain, yes, and he described it that it looks like a neuron, yes. Therefore, you can see here how it looks like biological neuron, and then some interpretation of neural network you can see in computer here. Therefore, the description is very simple, that we'll have inputs. All methods like fuzzy neural or genetics has the inputs, therefore it's some isolated model, which is usually simplified. There is a weights and there is a sum, and very important is transformation function, which are used only, I can say, very rarely, but for some purposes are some logistic, yes, linear function or sigmoid from -1 to +1, or from 0 to +1, or from -+1. Therefore, the first was discovered the propagation method. What is interesting that there was a 15 years lag that they searched for the method how to process the multi-layer neural networks. Therefore, when I was young at the university as a student, they said to me, yes, we know how to solve the perceptron, this simple one, but we don't know how to solve multi-layer networks. And therefore, for example, XOR function, it wasn't difficult, it wasn't possible to solve it in such a way. Therefore, there was a 15 years lag, and then it was discovered so-called backpropagation method, which could solve these neural networks. Therefore, it's a neural network, and you can see some application. It's not directly from the math lab, but it was a very good program, neuroforecaster. But you can see that when you that the process is that you start this learning. At first, you have data, therefore they are downloaded into the system, into the program, and during the process of learning, the testing, you can do then some forecast of future values. What you can choose, it was partially commercial program, therefore it wasn't possible to change the neurons, each transfer function of each neuron. Therefore, you can see here that generally you can use not only this basic, like I mentioned, sigmoid or hyperbolic tangent, but there were such more methods was possible to use it, and it was under the skills, which best one was for some time series to be used. You can see also genetics, because genetics methods are used for optimization of neural network. Therefore, I'm starting with genetic sphere. Yes, that there is a use for pruning of the neural network. Therefore, some connections could be cut by the optimization through the pruning. Therefore, you can see in this way that there are something that computer is very weak. When you want to very well trained neural network, therefore you need hundreds of thousands of calculation. Be careful, because it could be danger of overfitting or underfitting of neural network. Therefore, some application, it's an evaluation. Another way, and usually there are combined methods. For example, in this bank, you can see when there was evaluation with this fuzzy terms, not give the money or loan to some client. In this case, it was this situation that there you can have some input, like output is the risk, yes, and therefore it was normalized from 0 to 100. 100 was maximum the risk. Therefore, it was what was the input: sex, age, status, single, married, or something, number of children, account, and so on and so on. And therefore, the neural network was trained, and then for testing, I searched what is the risk and if it will be okay or not. Therefore, it's the principle of neural networks. Therefore, you can see it could be used for risk management. We haven't tried. Also, it's an idea in future to use cyber risk management, to use also neural networks, but I have idea how it could be possible to solve. And there is another application. It's the data from England. Therefore, you can see it was a prediction of real estate. You have a real estate. Therefore, it's in Czech, but it describes something where it's placed, this, if how many rooms it has, if it's equipped with furniture, if there is stairs, or of course how large is the flat or house. And therefore it was in hundreds of libras, yes, and I asked what will be the price. Therefore, real estate can use it for the prediction. Another application which was done by my diploma students was, for example, suppliers rating. Therefore, it was evaluated new and suppliers of some product, goods, or some semi-product for the total processing, for example. Therefore, also you can see some data and prediction, and when new one will be put inside, it was evaluated if it's suitable new firm to deliver some goods for the processing in factories. Then, for example, very famous and popular is what? Skoda car, yes. Therefore, when it's produced, it has many parts was be given to be collected, put it together with the car. By the way, when I use the taxi, the first thing I've met him, this taxi driver said to me, "It's a Skoda car." And I was in Prague also. Yes, therefore it was perfect. First meeting with first Taiwanese people. There is a very interesting small application. Therefore, it was somebody who was selling, for example, I think it was bread or rolls or something like this on the beach. Therefore, in America, therefore, what was the inputs? Inputs was the rain. Yes, if the payment was done at that time, yes, because when you have enough money, you buy much more than one day before the payment. Yes, it's true or not? Okay, and therefore the day from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and therefore it was evaluated what will be the sale. Yes, why? Because when we have on mind this, there is no pen. Yes, there is something here. Therefore, you can see, for example, what is important for some investor of us. You have the aim, for example, and if it will be future sale, therefore there is a future. you must evaluate it. If you evaluate it the right amount, it will be perfect. Yes. When you evaluate it, produce or bake more rows, it will be for your loss. And when you will be producing less, also it will be not realized investment. Yes. Therefore, in this situation, the seller will be sad. Yes. And only in this case, she will be smiling, happy. I earn as much money as possible. Yeah. Therefore, for these purposes, it's very important to do this, and it was one of the first applications which I found, and I tested on another products.
No business on Saturday and Sunday, only from Monday to Friday, or why just Monday to Friday?
What?
Oh, only Monday to Friday, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's by chance there was 6 and 7 also. Yes.
Oh, just 6.
Yes, yes, yeah. Yes, here is 6 and here is 7. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yes, therefore it's not always same way. Or can use also only 2, for example, working day 1 and 2 binary digit. Yes, binary working day and empty day. Well, therefore also it was neural networks under the teacher, therefore supervised neural networks and unsupervised neural networks, such as Oldfield neural networks. There is some theory, because I use it very quite often in clustering. And what was the application? You have some application also like in fuzzy neural networks, or now in with the help of neural networks. Therefore, you can see era of the clients when you have an idea that each it's a centroid, it's in the center, but this is one client which gives you some how high is his property and how high is the income. Therefore, there is a cluster of low risk, yes, of low risk clients or banks, medium risk and very high risk. What does it mean? High risk, it means that the income is very low and property is very low. Therefore, it's some cluster is very high risk, medium risk and low risk, because, for example, client number XYZ, yes, has such high property and so high income, yes, and also we can do it in dimensional space or hypersphere. Therefore, you do the clustering to divide it on various groups. I use it for various purposes. Here you can see some evaluation, some data are presented here. Therefore, it's dependence of the age, yes, on income and loan, yes. Therefore, for the banks, it could be when I will be using 3 terms: young, medium, old. Therefore, the most risky will be young people, yes. Of course, it could be problem for unemployment or something like this. The best one is very low risk according to age. The age was medium people, and seniors would get a great problem. Therefore, it was created also in such a clustering. Therefore, we have clustering of high, medium, or low risk. But now I presented it on the age. It's a function of income and loan. And another thing you can see, when there is an evaluation, also only 2 inputs to be demonstration. Yes, therefore you can see here that it's search quality, which is dependable on the sale and on the price. Yes, therefore you can see usually, of course, there is some dependence. Quality is the higher quality, the price is higher. Yes, and maybe sale is lower, but it depends. You can choose any products which you want to see. Yes. Therefore, you can see it's also some collaboration. The data was given by Israeli colleagues. Therefore, you can see that there is much more data about it, and what is purchase interest is dependent on attitude towards advertisement and attitude towards the brand. It was a shampoo, yes, for hairdresser. Therefore, it was divided among 800 students during some survey, yes, and therefore they felt much more data important. I choose from huge data such a one, and therefore you can see here that I've said I need 3 clusters, yes, therefore purchase interest very low, low, medium, and the survey was used because there you can see attitude towards advertisement, which was, for example, smell, yes, of this color or something like this, which gives it connected directly with marketing. And because it's not very clear, therefore it exists in so-called 3-dimension animation or virtuality. Therefore, this data colored with this low, medium, and high purchase interest was colored in yellow, blue, and red, and therefore you can go inside and you search what is what. Yes, therefore it fully and it's very popular among firms because they know which products must have the best color, shape, smell, or something like this. Therefore, it's something what is used to practice because I like when some data are used in practice.
How many features looks like products?
Features inputs, do you think inputs?
Yeah, how many inputs?
There was 8 inputs, yes.
18 features, variables. 8.
8, yes,
Yeah,
8.
Human probably cannot visualize more than 4 or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Therefore, it depends because it's also a group, yes.
So the input dimension is actually small, right? Only 8.
Yes.
And then what's the
8 inputs.
Yeah.
Therefore, there is a questionnaire for the students who do the crossing.
Yeah, I know. So my question is, if the input dimension is low, then what's the advantage of using neural networks over, other alternatives in terms of clustering? I'm just curious because neural network seems to me is more complicated in terms of the clustering test, right?
There are, of course, various methods, statistical methods, how to evaluate it. And I tried, because I focus on soft computing analytics, I tried to do it, and we recognized that the result was quite good, and it's applicable, yes?
So do you have to predefine the number of clusters?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes, you can choose, therefore it is so granularity, yes? Therefore, somebody tells you 3 clusters are enough. If it will be 7, 8 or something, it will be more detailed. Yeah?
Okay. Then if I have, for example, if I want to test the 3 versus 4 or 5,
yes.
And how can I measure the performance in terms of clustering?
Yes. It depends what you want.
For example, in data application, if I want to test whether it's better to have 3 versus 4, then how can I, decide on, or it's just someone says, okay.
Of course, feedback is much more complicated because when you want to do some, when you give the results for the marketing and it's sold out, it's not so easy to evaluate it if it was the reason why it was sold out in higher amount of this. Yeah? Well, okay. Therefore, not what I've said to you is what I like so much because nowadays it's very complicated to do some prediction of currency ratio or commodities or indexes or shares. Therefore, in this case, when I do this, you can see here some application when I searched about currency ratio, US dollar to check my currency, in Czech koruna, yes, and therefore you can see some history and there was some prediction for the future. And the advantage, if it's okay, therefore when you must pay for some invoice, you can make decide it if you to pay immediately or if there will be some currency ratio better later. Yes. Therefore, also it could be used here prediction for index. Yes, like Nasdaq, or it will be price commodity. It was about something about corn, because also on the stock market you can buy or sell corn. And what is interesting, and it was my students' diploma paper of my students, when I saw some article where so-called scalograms were used, the heart beating curve, yes, was transferred to scalegram. Then it was taught by the deep neural network. Yes, here you can see this deep neural network with some layers of long short time memory, and the results you can see on confusion matrix. On fusion matrix, it was, what does it mean? If the price will go up, and it was true, it was 245 years, and if it will goes down, and it was true, it was 255, and the negative things, it will be only a few, 7, I don't know, when it was said it will be right, but it was wrong, and it will be down, and it will go. Therefore, you can see that this confusion matrix gives you some good results for this calculations. And you can see deep learning, deep neural network. Therefore, it's something what I want to go to my followers to dedicate it to this solution. Yes, because it's too many. I have wide area of interest. Therefore, I want to focus on something. If there will be also some cooperation, it exists diploma paper. The students went to the praxis, and therefore it was now we will be continuing in it. Therefore, it's also some questions we will be discussing about cooperation. If you found it some similar things which will be possible to solve, if yes or no. Very interesting. It's my also PhD student, so-called churn analysis. Neural networks were used, and this PhD student, it's an external PhD student, works for a big company, Czech company, and churn analysis means if the client, not to lose the client, therefore it's evaluated each client if it will be because what the reason is, when the new client is could be attracted to the products, therefore it's 5 times more expensive than when you lose one. Therefore there are various calculations, and it was 97. It has about, I think, 100 or more, 100,000 customers. Therefore, it's regularly evaluated and gives you alert. Be careful this because these types of customers usually leaves, and therefore you must do something to give him some bonuses or something like this. Therefore, it's well appreciated when it is in real application. Maybe you do something like this also. Well, and also you can see my PhD students, Monika, not Zuzana, solved the problem with neural networks problem. And you can see that there is a test, bankruptcy of the firms. Therefore, you can see some firms, there is it's evaluated by neural networks that it is some group of people, some firms which bankruptcy, and it was seen by these crosses that it was quite good calculation, that it will not be not in bankruptcy, and it results in such a way. Therefore, it's do it Monica and something in the capital market prediction, it's done by Zuzana, which will be continuing. I hope that time is okay. Yes, time is okay. Perfect time. Yes, okay. Therefore, tells you 10 minutes, something about topics what she searched for her PhD thesis. Well, and third main field was the genetics algorithm. Therefore, Mendel, father of genetics, do the basic, recognize it in the nature, yes, that there is a selection, crossover, mutation, and it's repeated several times. And also it was used, this method was used for the optimization, therefore to minimize the cost and to maximize the profit. Therefore, it could be something like this, but in this other case, it means that in this case, you will be satisfied if you reach this, you will be satisfied if yeah, in this case. And of course, there are some process of selection. It means selection to find the strongest specimen. Crossover, it means from the parents creates new offsprings. Yes, and in the mutation that suddenly changed. Therefore, it's from the nature selections the strongest specimen. Herd, yes, or something like this. Well, therefore, there is some not program where it's important that you will have some data, and there you can choose some parameters, of course, like a crossover, mutation, and generation gap. Also, you can optimize these values, or you can choose these values, and you will do the calculation of what? Of various things. Therefore, I think that the most famous method of optimization is travel salesman problem. Yes, therefore you can see here that it's the border of Czech Republic, and therefore it was found the shortest way to visit I think 15 or 10 biggest places in Republic. Yes, therefore I have also students when it's quite normal. I think that delivery of goods, yes, from some shops. Therefore, if the driver receives some optimized route, therefore it saves you money because it's shortest way and quicker way, and you must solve it in such a detail that you must have as much as right turn off than left turn, because when the cars goes, you must stay and you are losing minutes. Therefore, you can be very well. Therefore, there is some only demonstration also of this problem. Clustering could be done by Hopefield neural network. There it's searched by the clusters by the genetic algorithms. Where are you searching for the centroids? Yes, that this centroid here, and areas around this are the nearest one. Therefore, I choose 3. It could be 5, 7, and therefore it's tested. Therefore, in bank test it will be high risk, because high risk here, medium risk, or very low risk, or vice versa. Yes, something like this. But it wasn't for real data. It was when I tested in time if software is working quite well. And of course, there are some applications not far from here. Is town Zlín. Yes, it was famous. I think you are 10,000 kilometers from Czech Republic, but there was famous and world now famous shoemaker Bata. Maybe you know it, producing shoes. Yes, therefore he makes so many factories in the whole world. Therefore, you can find it in the whole world. Yes, but what I want to present you here, there are the pickup places. Therefore, for example, it would be some firms here in this region, which and some waste, for example, waste, some dangerous products of waste must be collected to some special space. Therefore, you are searching where, when this place and which firms will be this place will be serving for this towns. This place will be searched for this town and for this place. Therefore, what is also optimization, that you would make a decision that you have money for 3 pickup places or stores for some dangerous material, for example, and you are searching for the shortest way it will be. Yeah? Therefore, also minimize the cost. And very interesting topic also, which was done by my PhD student, and he disappeared in firms, was that the charging infrastructure for electrical vehicles. Therefore, you know that electrical vehicles are a great boom in the world, also in Central Europe, also in Czech Republic. Therefore, the main problem is charging stations. Therefore, it was very detailed work. The data from the Ministry of Transport was given, and therefore these small points are when the recharge places are here. Yes, and therefore it was said, the calculation was when is the best to build up a new one charging places. Therefore, if you choose 2, 1, yes, then when you have a simulation that it will be done, therefore you ask for another 3 places. Therefore, it was calculated that the optimized method will be such a way, and when you do this, you can add another. Therefore, it can shows you where the places will be done. He was very good programmer, and therefore he created for this optimization his own special methods for calculation of this optimization process. Therefore, also this PhD paper is available on university database. Yes.
What's the objective function?
What?
What's the objective function for that? It's minimizing something or maximizing?
It was also it's like in a business to earn as much money as much. Yes. Therefore, of course, it was the frequency of this frequency of which road it will be, how frequent, how many cars will be there. Yes. Therefore, optimization to use this recharge station as much as possible. Therefore, you can see why it's here, for example, because there is a Germany, and therefore it's very high. It looks suspicious, but it's very high traffic between Prague, Munich, or something like this. Therefore, it was placed in this because there was some data about moving the cars and places when it goes through. Therefore, we know how many cars go there. There must be partially some estimation, for example, how many percent cars, electric cars it is, or it will be in future because some proportion will be changing. Yes. Therefore, yeah.
Yeah, probably more high objective.
Yes.
Minimize something.
Yes.
Maximize something.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
combination of all.
But in business, it's to increase profit. Yes. And in future, it will be wealth, not only money, but wealth. Wealth of nation, wealth of people. Yeah? Okay. And then it was some application, older application. Therefore, when I mentioned the combined methods, therefore in this combined methods, I make some similar model because it went so from all fuzzy logics, neural networks, genetics algorithms. Therefore, you can see that there is some technical analysis. Therefore, usually prediction, intraday prediction. Therefore, the there was it was a daily sampling or hours sampling, one day per day. Therefore, you do calculation for the future, and you can there were some switches. Then you can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Therefore, then the rise will be high positive, middle, low positive, neutral, low negative, middle negative, and very high negative. Therefore, in this, it gives you some, it could be also some against this, yes. Therefore, this calculation gives you, for example, two models from the intraday that it will be increased, also some increase from day, week prediction or something like this. You have here also Elliott waves, yes. Therefore, you can do some predictions with Elliott waves. Psychological analysis, you know, some data about attitude, especially in America, it's created attitude of investors that it will be positive, something between or negative. Now it's very complicated situation. Yes, Trump and China, yes, taxes and something like this. Therefore, it gives great fluctuations with the prices or something like this. But when you do an intraday trading, yes, you can be successful in this. And also there could be some fundamental analysis. And also I gave here something other. It could be intuition, and intuition because I feel it will go. And if you are so, usually intuition is what? That you have in your brain so many knowledges. Therefore, I ask you, why you do think that it goes out? She said me, I don't know, I feel it, yes? Therefore, I give this input, some others, it means some intuition, and it depends how strong this will be, input will be, which evaluating everything. Well, and what is the result? Therefore, it's inside, of course, if it will be high, very high positive, this. Therefore, it leads strong by 100%. Opposite negative, it will be very high negative. Therefore, it will be going down, down, down. Yes. Therefore, it will go to minus 1%. It means strong sales. Therefore, it was some suggestion which gives you is to sell immediately or sell some share commodity, currency ratio, yes, indexes, gold, crude oil, something like this, or you do strong buy and buy, or you hold it, or you do nothing. Okay, therefore it can help you. It wasn't fully automated because it needs a lot of programmers to combine together. Therefore, when I do it for some firm, Finanza in Swedish firm it was, therefore we'll do some calculation, and it was done manually, this outputs, and there was final decision of responsible investor who put money inside or not. Therefore, it was some advisor support your decision, but maybe you've read some articles, and when this system is fully automated, that it gives you good positive results. Yes. Why? Because this computer is very calm, and when you put for the final decision your emotion, it could cause you great problems that you are not so successful like a machine. Therefore, if you tune very well this trading system, it could be done automatically. Yes. Therefore, it's my experience during 20 years of working on the stock market. I don't know do it directly, but my knowledges are using software or something like this, and I can say that it's much more complicated because political situation, fluctuations, yes, like taxes and so on, which influence recession or something like this. Yes, and also there is something we know much about theory of chaos. when I was at the University of Chicago, I had some lectures there also, and it said that classical formulation aren't the best one for description of for economic phenomena. Yes, it will be perfect when you students said x, y, yes, but in a real application, you can describe some fluctuations and sometimes a series of, for example, your dollars to Czech crown. Yes, to Czech crown. Therefore, in the case, we started with Professor Zellner, but he passed away. Therefore, we haven't continued in this process. But it was this university appreciated to in this process. Therefore, only I have no many experiences. Don't forget that there is also overall feedback. It means generally it could be government, and there will be inhabitants, people of this country. Therefore, if there will be some popular decisions of government, people will be satisfied, everything will be okay. If there will be some negative increase in taxes or something, there will be so many riots and it can cause problems and disturb some fluctuations like you can see here. And of course, when we are in an economy, therefore there is a stock market. Therefore, stock market, investors influence stock market, prices go up, prices go down, and therefore it's endless loop, yes, something like this. Therefore, my model which I created, it could be any economical index. Therefore, it's abstract here that I use it here as two ellipses. That here, inside and outside, it's an unstable situation. Therefore, government or firm must do some restriction to be in the stable area. When something happens in the unstable area, you must do some stronger restrictions, therefore, to going back. Therefore, you can see, for example, if it will be in Brazil or some in Turkish or something, there will be great debt. Therefore, for example, then the leading 5-7 countries smashed these taxes, yes, to started this new. Therefore, it means there is an economic detractor, and I have some idea, something inside. I don't know precise which values to use. Maybe it could be also some search with your university, which data put inside to be stability and some warnings which can cause that something happens. It exists so-called Israeli Tamari attractor. It's not directly one. It's another. It's another one attractor. But we search with another my bachelor student attractor. Therefore, you are so many economic data, and therefore it was used this model and reprogrammed in MATLAB, and therefore there were inputs data used for search for the attractor. It means attractor means that the stable area is, or if the stable area isn't it. Here is interesting. Of course, I have. It could be application of some time series on the stock market, but I don't know if it's. I didn't recognize which correct or the right it could be, but you can see it's very famous logistic function that this new value is dependable on the previous value plus my sums to minus, subtraction and some multiplication. This is so-called coefficient, constant coefficient. Such simple formula gives you such. It looks like a chaos, yes, but it's done by this deterministic value. Therefore, it's perfect thing to it's interesting also some topic to be describing some phenomena on the economy. And I think, okay, that's all, because I'm searching for many, but not by myself. I have no such a wide area, but I've read some article also very popular is, and I have no forces to use also neural networks when you have the inputs and outputs will be the diagnosis if you are healthy or if you have some illness or something like this. Therefore, some application in medicine, yes. Here is some application in the art. Yes, you can see that that it searched. It was downloaded pictures of old from old Asians, about 10,000 pictures. Yes, and it was found if there are some similar pictures on different papers, interests in different places, and it was discovered. Now it said plagiarism. I don't know if you are searching for plagiarism of diploma papers or PhD papers. How is it in your university? Plagiarism. It means to search if somebody stole somebody else. Yes, therefore, at the time it wasn't plagiarism in many centuries, but it was said that it was Rembrandt, for example, inspired some book or something like this. Yes, and here is another semantic also. It's very another field not of my interest is that you are searching for some text. Yes, and you're searching for the mood, for example. You can go through the thinking, for example, if Microsoft share will be okay, therefore it can go through many magazines and do some analysis if it will be positive or negative influence also. And what is very interesting, I'm amateur organist and amateur composer. Therefore, I found some program when you put inside some music and neural networks was created to create to be a composer. Neural network became a composer, and therefore you can see it wasn't composed by me, but it was composed by the neural network. Yes. Therefore, you can see the application, but not my field of interest in policy, art, music, healthcare, and what we did I with my bachelor, master, and PhD students. You can see audit evaluation, financial report, tax report, or something like this. It was done on various levels. Sometimes it was basic research. Sometimes it penetrates into the factories, firms, and it was applicated. I can say that very popular among the students is to create the fuzzy models for the deliverers. Yes, for many firms choose because usually I have 20 or now less diploma papers which were chosen to use fuzzy logic for evaluation of suppliers. Therefore, in many firms, it's successfully used as a simplified model, but it's used because it can gives you support your decision. When you have so many suppliers, it needs very strong, and it's a lot of data, and it's not easy to evaluate it only by brain. Because why we are using computers, it wasn't a blind branch to using computers. Yeah, we're using more and more and more. Another methods disappeared in zip drives or something like this. And why? Because computers has a higher memory. Yes, big memory. I usually say students, computer will learn English within a few seconds. For us, it takes hours to know another languages. Yes, therefore it's the speed, it's the memory, and it can works 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Yes, therefore it's, and the reliability, when the program is okay, it will be calculated without mistakes, because I'm in the era when I started, no computers were, there were used special logarithmics devices, yes, and for example, we were very popular in turbines, water turbines, not far from Brno is Blansko, where turbines were exported to Brazil in the whole world, but the calculation of the turbines takes, for example, 3-4 months. And what is interesting, there were 3 groups who do only addition, abstraction, division or something. In the evening, they search if they have the same result, and if they continued in the calculations. Therefore, the number of groups were converted to small pieces, and therefore it's way when we are continuing. And I think where great focus is especially also deep learning, and because cars, self-driving cars, are as a very high topic and very strong solution, research solution to do it safely as much as possible. Therefore, it tracks, and therefore you can see deep learning and something like this is used quite very often, and it will be this use. Therefore, artificial intelligence or soft computing has a great perspective, and who will be interested in it will be king, king of artificial intelligence. Well, I think that it's all. Yes, of course, it's all. Therefore, I published so many books. Therefore, because so many of them are in Czech, of course, but here one which was very appreciated by Professor Zadek, founder of fuzzy logics. And what is also, I have some books where I use it for its use at law and criminals, yes, evaluated theft, yes, or therefore also so many or something like this. And here you can see that Professor Chen issued very famous book, the Oxford Handbook of Computation, Economics and Finance, and me and Mr. Lin have chapter 12. Thanks you for this, describing the business application of fuzzy logics. And there is a picture when we met in, I think it was in Prague in 2012, for our cooperation, it was said. Well, I have such as my web pages is from my name and surname, European Union, and it's my email address from my name, Faculty of Business and Management, and this abbreviation is from Czech Brno University of Technology. We are in Brno. Well, thank you for coming here and to listen my presentation. Yeah?
Okay, so this is a very comprehensive overview of soft computing. So it's very good, suitable for students actually.
Yes.
Okay, so they can learn some general backgrounds of
Yes.
the technology nowadays flying around us. Okay, and application soft computing to business management, and you cover lots of interesting application. Okay. So we leave the boundary time for no discussion. Oh, John, I have something to add.
Yes. Yes. It's your turn. Yes, it will be better.
So my name is Zuzana Jankova. I'm PhD student at the Brno University of Technology, and my focus area is finance. But in my PhD studio under Professor Peter Stahl, I have to use some method of soft computing. So I start with fuzzy logic. First of all, I would like to apologize my English because it's not so good. So I hope you will understand me and vice versa. I would like to continue what Professor Dostal said about physiology. Because it's not reasonable to use exact membership function for something uncertain. In this case, it's necessary to use another type of fuzzy logic that can handle with this uncertainty, namely type 2 fuzzy logic system. Because type 2 fuzzy set are essentially fuzzy set, the generalized type 1 fuzzy set. And type 2 fuzzy set reduced to type 1 fuzzy set is there is no uncertainty. The membership function of 2 type is three-dimensional and includes footprint of uncertainty. Type 2 fuzzy logic has a higher approximation capability than neural networks. This is picture of type 1 fuzzy membership function, and this is picture of 2 type membership function. Recently, 2 type has gained popularity in a wide range of application. There are 3 ways in which such rules uncertainty can appear. Noise in training data, words that are used in consequence and antecedents means different thing to different people, and consequence in avoiding of panel of experts often differ for the same things. Type 1 fuzzy logic system is unable to directly incorporate this uncertainty, while 2 type can't handle this uncertainty. Due to the higher degree of uncertainty, 2 type is applied in financial market issue. The structure of 2 type and 2-1 is very similar. The real variable are first transformed by fuzzification to linguistic variable. There are 3 ways of fuzzification in 2 type. If the measured data is perfect, modeled as a crisp set. Data with noise and stationary noise are modeled as a type 1 fuzzy set, and the data with a non-stationary noise is modeled as a type 2 fuzzy set. The fuzzification is followed by fuzzy inference that define the behavior of the system using if-then rules. In 2-1 fuzzy logic system, the conversion process to specific number is called the fuzzification. However, the matter is much more complicated in 2 type because moving from 2 type fuzzy set to crisp set requires 2 steps. First is still called the fuzzification, and the second is called type reducer, which reduce 2 type fuzzy set to type 1 fuzzy set. So in 2 type fuzzy logic system, there are 2 numerical outputs, crisp set and type reduced set. The latter express the degree of uncertainty that 2 type has due to input measure uncertainty. We make some model of 2 type fuzzy logic on ETF stock exchange traded fund in American stock market. We use 4 inputs: risk, return, total expense ratio, and dividend, and the output represent to buy or sell ETF stock. 2 type model simulate investment decision in ETF stock in American stock market. This can be demonstrated by a little case study. If the risk of ETF stock is 2.5%, return 1.45%, dividend 3%, and total expense ratio 0.34%, then it's appropriate to purchase the ETF stock because the value is equal 1, which express to buy the stock. Then we compare 2 type and 2-1 fuzzy logic system. we use some statistical parameters, and better results provides for our model two-type fuzzy logic system. So in Cabby states that two-type is suitable for investment analysis because it can better deal with uncertainty and chaos and provide consistent results. So it's a really short talk. Thank you for your attention.
Is that a Mendel type 2 fuzzy logic by Southern California University?
It's a Sageno 2 type fuzzy logic model. Sageno. We use Sageno. Exists Sageno and Mamdani, and Mamdani.
Type 2 is Mendel. I must know type 2 fuzzy logic. I know there's a type 2 fuzzy logic who's developed by Mendel in University of Southern California. I thought that's the type 2 that you are following. No. Okay, that's different. That's okay. Don't worry.
2.1 and 2 type is from Zadek also, and there is 2 type of fuzzy logic, Sageno and Mamdani. 2 type of fuzzy logic, Sageno and Mamdani.
There's a different school.
Both could be used, yes?
Yeah. There's a University of California, which is Mendel.
Because second is it's done by the formulas and second one is the calculation of polynomial.
Yes.
Both is possible. Okay. Huh? No question? No?
So you just showed R-square. That's the R-square for the training data, right? Or do you understand what I'm saying? You have the R-square, MAE, MAP, those metrics. So those metrics are for your training data, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? Typically, when we do those kind of machine learning, we have a training data set that we use to train the model. Then we have some hold-down data that we want to test the performance of the system. So the R-square is very high, right? Above 0.9. So I'm assuming that's the R-square for your training data or what?
Real data was used, yes, from the birth, from the birth, yes, and therefore it was evaluated by this. Yes, and you asked for some value, yes.
Yeah. No, what I'm saying is if that's the R-square from the training data, I don't know. It seems to me the model might be overfitting the data, and the model may perform.
The question about overfitting of the data.
In fuzzy logic, we didn't training the system.
So then what's the meaning of the R-square? Yeah, it's a slide, right? You have those metrics about your MAP, MA, R-square.
Using this data, yes, some value, yes, of this data.
Yeah, because I'm not familiar with fuzzy, I'm just testing.
Yes.
Aha, to prawie padło. Ja nie wiem, co myślę. A to nie mam tato.
Yeah, this one.
This one, yes.
Yeah,
R squared, yes. Do you have?
Yeah, you have the table in the.
Yeah, this is statistic parameters. Root, mean, square.
Yeah, I know. I understand. What I'm saying is, the value are calculated from the training data or what? Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Because that is training. If you use training data for this calculation of this
training data.
Yeah, the outputs what the system and compare the output from 2 type model and real data and compare with these statistical parameters.
Yeah, so what I was saying is the training performance seems very good. but in general, what we care is about how the system performs for the unknown data, which is your out of sample range. Yeah, so do you have any idea what's the performance? I'm just curious.
The data are quite good, yes, the result of this, and how is it with the performance on a real application?
The model say to buy or sell the ETF stock. Because if the output is the number of outputs is near to 1, it's appropriate to purchase or buy the stock. If the number of output is equal 0, it seems to sell the ETF stock.
I know. It will give you a suggestion, right, based on the system. Right, the model is going to ask you to do something. It's either buy or sell or whatever. But I was just asking, I was curious, what's the performance if you apply the model to a testing period?
No.
Oh, you didn't do that.
We only start with 2 type and applicate now.
Oh, okay.
It needs long-term performance calculation and evaluation of the data. Yeah?
Okay.
Therefore, it's some basic search of this method is applicable, and the results will be detailed results of performance. It needs some longer time. Yes? Because it's changing, we can do it on the history, yes, but in history the data are more not so chaotic, therefore we must do the recalculation of the model, yes, on the situation. Like this, for example, when you do the data with you have data for the history, therefore you must search for longer time or shorter time, especially when something happens, for example, when Trump sells some taxes, yes, therefore it will be so great chance that you must create a new model and make some new calculations, yes. Therefore it could help you when you will do it for shorter time of prediction, yes, for some huh?
How many days do you have for the training?
How many?
How many days you use for this?
I use monthly data, not daily data, and 3 years, 2015, 16 and 17, 3 years to pass. And monthly, that's all. Monthly, not daily.
So you say 60 points?
60 points you have.
Yeah.
It's a rough calculation for future, but we want to focus on the daily data also.
So total about 1,000 daily.
Yeah, but they use monthly. Yeah. I guess they are trying to see whether the engine works.
Yes.
At this point, yeah.
For example, some in Switzerland, it's able on the stock market, the sampling is 1 minute, yes. Therefore, there are supercomputers, you will do the calculation of prediction continuously, yes, and therefore it's a little different way when you focus it to do it in the banks, therefore they have means, and therefore you use such a modules for prediction. When it's implemented such methods, if you found it interesting, it could be implemented with some banks when it will be functioning on a sampling, minute sampling, because many trades are done on on the daily basis, as intraday operation on the stock market.
No question? Well, no, thanks, Professor Peter and Kloster and your students on that.
Yes. Thank you to come here. Yes.